The diplomatic crisis between Canada and India reached new heights on Monday, October 14, 2024, when Canada expelled 6 Indian diplomats, including the country's top envoy. This dramatic move came after Canadian authorities uncovered what they described as clear and compelling evidence linking Indian government agents to criminal activities on Canadian soil, including the 2023 murder of Sikh activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, in a televised address, stated that Canada's National Police had gathered evidence showing Indian government agents were engaged in activities that pose a significant threat to public safety. He emphasized that Canada will never tolerate the involvement of a foreign government threatening and killing Canadian citizens on Canadian soil, adding that India has made a monumental mistake. In response, India swiftly denied the allegations and retaliated by expelling 6 Canadian diplomats, including the acting High Commissioner. The Indian government dismissed Canada's claims as preposterous imputations driven by Prime Minister Trudeau's political agenda. What was the background of Hardeep Singh Nijjar and the allegations surrounding his death? Hardeep Singh Nijjar, an Indian-born Canadian citizen, was a prominent figure in the Khalistan separatist movement, which advocates for an independent Sikh homeland in the Indian state of Punjab. Nijjar was fatally shot in June 2023 outside a Sikh temple he led in Surrey, British Columbia. At the time of his death, he was sought by Indian authorities for his alleged involvement in terrorist activities. The Indian government had designated Nijjar as a terrorist in 2020, accusing him of involvement in an attack on a Hindu priest in India. However, Nijjar's supporters and Canadian officials have painted a different picture, describing him as a community leader and activist. Canadian authorities allege that Indian government agents were involved in orchestrating Nijjar's assassination. This claim was first made public by Prime Minister Trudeau in September 2023, when he announced that Canadian intelligence services were investigating credible information about a potential link between India's government and Nijjar's killing. India has consistently denied any involvement in Nijjar's death, initially rejecting the accusations as absurd before shifting to stating that extrajudicial killings are not state policy. How has the Canadian government responded to the allegations related to Nijjar's assassination? The Canadian government's response to the allegations surrounding Nijjar's assassination has been multifaceted and increasingly assertive. Foreign Minister Melanie Joly stated that Canada had gathered ample, clear, and concrete evidence linking individuals to the incident. She revealed that Canadian authorities had confronted India with this evidence over the weekend prior to the expulsions. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, held an extraordinary briefing on October 14, 2024, to share with the public fresh allegations implicating Indian government agents in a pattern of criminal activities targeting Canada's South Asian community, particularly Sikhs. These activities reportedly included not only Nijjar's murder, but also instances of extortion, coercion, and other violent acts. Canadian officials emphasized that they had attempted to work with the Indian government to address these concerns. However, according to Prime Minister Trudeau, India's response has been to deny, to obfuscate, to attack me personally and the integrity of the government of Canada. The decision to expel the Indian diplomats came after India reportedly refused to waive their diplomatic immunity, preventing Canadian authorities from questioning them about their alleged involvement in these activities. What has been India's stance on the accusations and its response to Canada's actions? India has categorically rejected Canada's allegations, framing them as politically motivated and baseless. The Indian Ministry of External Affairs released a statement expressing a lack of faith in the current Canadian government's commitment to ensuring the safety of Indian diplomats. India's response to Canada's actions has been swift and reciprocal. Following Canada's expulsion of 6 Indian diplomats, India promptly expelled an equal number of Canadian diplomats, including the country's acting High Commissioner. This tit-for-tat expulsion marks a significant escalation in the diplomatic crisis between the two nations. The Indian government has consistently maintained that Canada has not shared any concrete evidence to support its claims of Indian involvement in Nijjar's death or other criminal activities. India has accused Canada of harboring and providing a platform for Sikh separatists, whom it considers terrorists, threatening India's national security. Furthermore, India has framed the dispute as stemming from Canada's alleged leniency towards Khalistani separatists operating on its soil. Indian Foreign Affairs Minister Subramanyam Jaishankar suggested that the rift is rooted in issues his government has with a certain segment of Canadian politics and the policies which flow from that. How does this crisis fit into the broader context of India's relations with the Sikh diaspora and the Khalistan movement? The current diplomatic crisis between Canada and India is deeply rooted in the complex history of the Khalistan movement and India's relationship with the Sikh diaspora. The Khalistan movement, which advocates for an independent Sikh state, gained prominence in the 1980s and led to a period of violent conflict in India's Punjab region. While the movement has largely subsided within India, it continues to find support among some segments of the Sikh diaspora, particularly in countries like Canada, which is home to a significant Sikh population. India views the Khalistan movement as a threat to its territorial integrity and national security, and has been particularly sensitive to any perceived support for the movement from foreign countries. Canada's approach to the issue has been to uphold freedom of expression while maintaining India's territorial integrity. This stance has often put it at odds with India, which seeks a more proactive approach in curbing what it sees as separatist activities. The assassination of Hardeep Singh Nijjar and the subsequent allegations have brought these long-standing tensions to the forefront. For India, the incident represents what it sees as the dangerous consequences of allowing Khalistani elements to operate freely. For Canada, it raises serious questions about the limits of state power and the protection of its citizens, regardless of their political beliefs. The diplomatic crisis between Canada and India represents a complex interplay of historical grievances, geopolitical considerations, and fundamental disagreements over the limits of state power and civil liberties. As both nations navigate this turbulent period in their relationship, the international community watches closely, aware that the outcome could have far-reaching implications for global diplomacy and the delicate balance of power in the Indo-Pacific region. Subscribe for more.